The US has warned North Korea about its development of long-range ballistic missiles. KBS has obtained a photo of North Korean leader Kim Jong-il's youngest son, Jong-un. And we take a look at the amazing variety of the latest high-tech cell phones. Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Thursday, the 12th of February. I'm Nemo Kim. U.S. Defense Secretary Robert Gates has warned North Korea about its development of long-range ballistic missiles. Washington is apparently seeking to keep Pyongyang in check as the communist country seeks bilateral talks with the U.S. instead of the six-way talks.
U.S. Defense Secretary Robert Gates says the Pentagon could take action if Pyongyang continues to prepare its Taepodong missiles. When Pyongyang test-fired a Taepodong missile in 2006, the U.S. immediately operated its missile defense system, including its Aegis ships on the Korean Peninsula's eastern coast and the Pacific Ocean, and Japan's air search radar and patrol satellites. South Korea did not comment on Gates' statement. A South Korean government source says Pyongyang continues to install missile firing equipment at Musudan-ri in North Hamgyong province, the launch site of the Taepodong missile. Experts say North Korea is using its missile program to expedite bilateral talks with the U.S. The U.S. defense chief apparently sought to warn Pyongyang before it took action. South Korean and U.S. brass are known to be raising supervision of North Korea and drawing up measures for contingencies based on the information they've gathered.
KBS has exclusively obtained a photo of North Korean leader Kim Jong-il's youngest son, Jong-un. He is one of the candidates to succeed Kim in the third-generation power transfer.
This is a picture of North Korean leader Kim Jong-il's youngest son, Jong-un, at age 11. Though still a boy, his image in the picture reflects his staunch character. The handwriting on the photo reads it was handed by Jong-un himself with its date and location. One who disclosed this photo to KBS is Fujimoto, Kim Jong-il's former personal chef for 13 years since 1989.
この写真、これだったら子供の時だからいいかなっつって、で持ってっていいよっつって、でも絶対公開しちゃダメだよと、その約束で元で私いただいたんですよ。
Fujimoto says the young Kim was insightful and a man of action. He also had qualities as a future leader of North Korea. But the former chef was cautious on telling his succession of regime. He said it depends on Jang Song-taek, Kim Jong-il's brother-in-law, and a director of North Korean Workers' Party, as well as a key figure of the North Korean regime.
ですからね、いくらもう指名されたからって自分でね、いろいろ一人でね、やることは無理ですから、当然後見人が必要ですからね。その後見人にチャンソンテがもちろん。
Jong-un is currently 26 years old. One of Kim Jong-il's three sons, Jong-un, the eldest Jong-nam, and the second Jong-chol will succeed the father. The likely candidate could be determined at the election of members of the North Supreme People's Assembly, slated for March 8th.
The national soccer team held Iran to a 1-1 draw in a World Cup qualifier. Captain Park Ji-sung scored late in the game to allow Korea to keep its lead in Group B.
Korea's World Cup qualifier in Iran began under great tension. Iran took a dangerous shot just 2 minutes into the game. Korean striker Chung Sung-hoon also missed a header. Yeom Gi-hoon's left-footed blast was nicely saved by Iran's goalie. Javad Nakunam gave Iran the lead with a free kick in the 58th minute. The Korean team stepped up its attack and tied the game with about 9 minutes left. Ki Song-yong's free kick was blocked by the Iranian goalkeeper, but Korean captain Park Ji-sung headed the ball in. The tough match in Tehran thus ended in a draw.
3점을 땄으면 더 좋았겠지만 이라 원정 경기가 항상 힘든 경기고 또 저희로서는 1대0으로 지고 있는 경기에서 1대1로 비겨서 승점 1점을 딴 것에 만족스럽습니다.
With a 1-1 draw, Korea has maintained its lead in Group B with 8 points. Fellow Group B member North Korea beat Saudi Arabia 1-0. Moon In-guk scored the game's lone goal in the 29th minute assisted by Hong Yong-jo. The win was North Korea's first against Saudi Arabia in 26 years. The North has leapfrogged Iran to take second place in Group B with 7 points.
With new high-tech cell phones being released almost every other week, we might wonder if they'll ever stop evolving. The latest models include a projector phone that can project images on a 50-inch display, or phones that operate by one's breath.
Images trapped on a small cell phone display panel are projected onto a large screen. This is a projector phone which is to hit markets next week. A Korean company is first in the world to successfully commercialize the phone, which was regarded infeasible due to low-efficiency battery and heat discharge. Cell phones have been evolved with even projector devices embedded in them. Users can watch various TV and film contents on a maximum of 50-inch display.
발표나 프레젠테이션을 준비하는 대학생들 그리고 직장인들에게도 유용할 것이고요.
The technological development doesn't stop here. Cell phone cameras with 300,000 pixels resolution a decade ago has now evolved into a high-quality 8 megapixels resolution class with advanced functions and transformed into professional-level cameras. The revolutionary touch phones are operated as people touch the display screen. They've evolved to send photos and express emotion by a blow of breath.
뭔가 소통한다는 느낌. 그래서 기계와 내가 그냥 단순한 어떤 핸드폰이 아니라 이제는 이제 나만의 핸드폰 같은 느낌이지 않습니까?
Cell phones were introduced in Korea 2 decades ago. Their advancement is still ongoing, including newly developed watch phones that consumers can wear on their wrist and mobile phones featuring fitness coaching devices that monitor users' health conditions.
The surging value of the Chinese yuan is forcing Korean companies in China to return home. This is expected to create more jobs in the Korean manufacturing industry.
This maker of hairdryers in China has built a new plant in Korea. Half of the 50,000 hairdryers it produced in China will now be produced in Korea.
인건비가 상승이 되고 중국 현지에 그리고 저희 환율이 400원에서 500원 사이로 인상이 되다 보니까
LG Electronics will also cut production in its Chinese plant in Tianjin and shift to domestic production. 2,000 Korean manufacturers have moved to China every year since 2004, but that number fell 50% last year. This is mainly because of the increasing cost of plant operation due to the strong Chinese yuan and rising labor costs in China. In addition, consumers prefer products made in Korea to those made in China. The trend of moving back to Korea is expected to have positive effects on the companies and the Korean economy.
해외에 나갔던 기업이 국내로 돌아올 경우에는 일자리가 창출되면서 그 근로자들이 받는 소득으로 말미암아 내수 경기도 다시 활성화될 수 있습니다.
More Korean manufacturers are expected to return home amid rising labor costs in China and the stronger yuan.
Renewable energy forms such as wind and solar power are critically dependent on weather conditions. A resources map that accurately identifies weather conditions of the sun and wind has been developed here in Korea.
The Taegwalyeong Mountain Pass, the largest wind power cluster in the country, is truly a hell of winds. 49 power generators exploiting the wind energy stand atop the snowy hill. One wind turbine, about 100 meters tall, produces 2 megawatts of electricity. Wind generators are conventionally set at windy locations in Korea. In case of solar power plants, however, sunlight runs short for the nation as a whole.
내가 원하는 그 사업 부지에 기상조례가 없었기 때문에 투자받는 데 한계가 있었습니다.
To solve this problem, the National Institute of Meteorological Research has begun developing a resources map that notifies climate data in detail all around Korea. The map will show wind conditions for every 1 kilometer, including on sea, and solar conditions for every 4 kilometers.
올해 말까지 사업자들에게 실질적으로 도움이 될 수 있는 고해상도 자원 지도를 개발할 계획입니다.
The institute will also make maps of foreign countries, such as Mongolia, where weather conditions are better than Korea's, to help the overseas advance of the domestic energy sectors.
Olympic swimming sensation Park Tae-hwan has returned home after training in the U.S. He says he's looking forward to competing against reigning world champion Michael Phelps in the 2012 London Olympics.
Park Tae-hwan is brimming with confidence after returning from training in America. He says he's looking forward to facing world champion Michael Phelps in the 2012 London Olympics.
같이 좋은 또 경쟁할 수 있으니까 세계 신기록 보여주자니까요.
The two last faced off in the 200-meter freestyle finals at the Beijing Olympics last year. Park finished second behind Phelps. The problem was that Park's spurt at the turn was slower than Phelps's. So Park worked mainly on his turn speed while training in the U.S. He also says he's sorry over Phelps's confession that he smoked marijuana. Nonetheless, Park says he'll do his best and win in the London Olympics, regardless of whether Phelps competes there. Korea's top swimmer will resume training after a week of rest. Next stop for Park is the World Championships that begin in July in Rome.
French actress Sophie Marceau is visiting Korea. She's showing great interest in Korean films, saying she would love to work with Korean director Park Chan-wook.
Young Sophie Marceau was popular in Korea in the 1980s for her sweet smile. Still stunning at age 43, she has surprised many Korean fans on her visit to Korea.
Park Chan-wook is also very famous in France to meet me and do a movie with me.
Really?
So I say it again, don't forget.
She said she wants to work with Korean film director Park Chan-wook, a winner of the Grand Prix at the Cannes Film Festival in 2004. The two had met at Cannes and agreed to work together. In several press interviews, Marceau had mentioned Park's Cannes Prize winner Old Boy as one of her favorite Korean films.
Coming more and more, to festivals all over the world. I wish one day I would do a movie.
2 decades ago, the French actress featured in Korean cosmetics commercials. She said kimchi is her special beauty secret.
Thanks to the current hit TV drama Boys Over Flowers, many gorgeous actors are drawing the spotlight. With the pretty men syndrome here to stay for quite some time, let's take a look at the history of gorgeous Korean actors.
This handsome guy with dark eyebrows broke many girls' hearts. He's Shin Sung-il, who starred in numerous romantic movies and soap operas in the 1960s in Korea. Other male stars at the time, such as Shin Young-gyun and Choi Mu-ryong, were popular for their heroic and masculine images. Nam Gung-won, who was called the Gregory Peck of Korea, was another pretty boy star of the 60s.
잘생기고 그냥 체격도 좋고 옛날에는 제가 영화 촬영하고 그럼 키가 컸어요. 지금은 뭐 여자가 나보다 더 큰 여배우들이 많고.
1960년대에는 남성미가 물씬 넘치는 외모를 가지고 있는데 남성적인 야성미가 강조되는 선이 굵은 외모를 가지고 있는 것이 특징입니다. 1970년대에는 붉은 쌍꺼풀과 깊고 날카로운 눈매 등을 가지고 있어서 남성미가 강조되는 인상이라고 할 수가 있습니다.
Next are the pretty boys of the 1970s and the 80s. They include the charismatic Han Jin-hee and handsome guy Lee Young-ha, who appeared mostly as sweet guys from wealthy families. No Ju-hyun is another pretty boy star from that time. You can still see him in many TV shows. A large number of pretty boy stars emerged in the 1990s. There's Kim Won-jun, who looks like he's straight out of girls' comic books. There's also Son Ji-chang with his mischievous grin and Kim Min-jong with his sad-looking eyes. They're followed by Song Seung-han and Chung Sung. Chang Dong-gun is still one of the most favored pretty boys for the 17th year since his debut. Next, the intelligent-looking and handsome Bae Yong-jun, who emerged as one of the top stars in Asia. Cho In-sung, who started out as a model, is favored by many lady fans for his watery-looking eyes. There's also Kang Dong-won and Lee Jun-gi.
꽃미남이라고 생각 못 하거든요. 아, 그래요? 눈도 찢어지고 못생겼는데. 진짜 못생겼는데. 감사합니다.
Then who is the most beloved pretty boy of 2009?
최근에는 꽃미남의 트렌드와 마찬가지로 좀 더 여성스럽고 부드러운 이미지를 갖기를 원합니다.
Kim Hyun-jung has been popular for his looks since his debut. He's become the #1 pretty boy of this year.
꽃미남 스타라 그러면은 이제 기분은 좋죠. 근데 아직 사람들은 제 메이크업 지운 걸 못 보셨기 때문에.
They make many lady fans across the world very happy with their looks. Pretty boys live on.
Let's now take a look at today's economic indicators, followed by world weather. And that does it for this edition of News Today. Join me tomorrow at the same time. Have a gorgeous day.